Okay, so in order to do this properly, you got to get on the inside of the trailer, because that's where the structure is, or basically the non-structure, because they're built so bad. They're kind of built like a Big Mac. If you ever watched a Big Mac being built, they just kind of pull the cooked patty here, throw this here, throw that there, throw this, slap that there, boom, you got your Big Mac. That's how they throw these things together. Anyway, so I'm going to flip this camera around and show you what I did for structure on the inside. Okay, so there's up at the front of the trailer there where the bed is, and so up along the top here there's a cabinet, right? But it adds nothing to the structure, so I ripped that out because it was sagging anyway. The water had got into it, in behind it, and the water got down into the tops of the nightstands along the side. So there, I took the tops off of those, but the sides of them were pretty good. Luckily, in mine, water didn't get down into the floor, which is good. So, what I did and what I'm going to do. So, where the cabinet was right here. Okay? It was junk. There was no structure. It was just fastened into the wall. So, basically what I did is built a roof truss in here, and I dropped a jack stud down the wall down to the floor on each side. So I'll go across here, put 2x3 across here, sistered it in with this chintzy piece of 2x2 or whatever it was across the top, plus I laminated a couple of strips of plywood up there to the 2x2 to join it together. Down along here I put in a 2x2 back about 1 foot, far enough back for my patch. And that's my 1 foot strip patch up there. I'll show you that in a minute. Anyway, going along here, my truss that I built, I'll back up so you can see up the left side, jack stud, up underneath that side across. I got a center vertical coming down to tie it together right across the top down the right hand side. Okay, now what I did here, I threw away these old MDF tops that were here. I cut out some pieces. I didn't screw everything down here just so I can show you guys. I notched these jack posts out so they could go around the corners of my cabinet and up under there. Then these will go on here. I will cover those with laminate floor to pretty them up and fasten these jack posts in. Now, I have this part all torn out. Water had got to that. I got that torn out. That's the outside chintzy little Luan or whatever they call that. Luan, 1/4 inch shit. So anyway, I'm going to take this out here as well. And structurally, that's pretty much it structurally on the inside. Now when I put this back together, I am not going to finish this wall here on the inside or here. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to take this out, but I'm going to finish the outside wall, weatherproof it. Now, on here, I'm just simply going to put a pine board. I'm going to stain it. One board right across. Close it in. It's not going to be a cabinet. The reason for that is, in the winter time, this will be closed in on the outside. I just got a tarp there for now. But in the winter time, I take that board off. I keep an eye on it. I can see if any little leaks start to trickle down in. I can catch them before they get out of hand. Every now and then in the summer season, I can take that board off. After a rainstorm, take a look-see up in here, because this will be closed in on the outside, but this will just be roughed right in here. That finished board comes off. I take a look-see. Yeah, no leaks after that storm. Good. Slap her back on. Simple as that. I keep a close eye on everything that way. Now, this strip that I put across the top, I had to get that 2x3 to curve somewhat. I don't know if you can see these all of these screws that I put down through here. See them all along there. So I used a 2x3 up there, and I had to pull it up to the level of the other board where it left off. So the board overlaps about halfway across that 2x3. I drove the screws down through the original roof sheathing into this 2x3 before I screwed this new part on, in order to pull the 2x3 up. It has a slight bow to it when you pull it up, because it had to pull up to join up with the other roof level. So I started at one end, and I just kept on putting long screws in. And the reason I use these long screws is because they had to come down through that 2x3, and they had to pull it up. So they had to, it was kind of like an auger, sort of. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, instead of screwing the sheathing down, I screwed from the top, but pulled this rafter up. Okay, but you have to start at one end and put your screws a couple of inches apart and just work it across, work it across, work it across. Take your time. Put that screw in a little bit, put the next screw in a little bit, put the next one in a little bit, go back, pull that one in further, pull that one in further. You got to go back and forth a little bit. I put glue up underneath there and glue up under the old one. Now these long screws aren't going to matter much because, like I said, I'm going to finish, I cut this part of the ceiling out, and I'm going to finish that back in probably the same with I'll box that down a little bit. I'll put a pine board across there and a pine board down there. Okay, simple to take it off, simple to take it off. Check for any little signs of leaks before they turn into big leaks. That's the plan. On the outside, I'm not going to put the nose cone on, and I got to flip this around. Okay, so on the outside, I'm not going to put the regular nose cone back on. And I apologize. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at his name. One of the viewers on my channel suggested diamond plate on the front. I hadn't given it a lot of thought, but full credit to him. If you see his name on the comments, I'll mention his name on the next video. But full 100% kudos. I am going to go with that diamond plate on the front, and then I'll bend a piece of aluminum over the top edge so that everything goes in the order that it should. My bottom section on the front will be on first. The middle section will slightly overlap it by 1/2 inch. Then when this top piece of flashing comes over the top, it'll overlap that by 1/2 inch. So the roof overlaps the lower section, just like a roof is supposed to be. Anyway, guys, that's about all I got for now. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, you can tackle projects like this. You got to take your time. You might have the hands, you might have the head, you might have only the hands, but not the mind for it. You might have the mind and not the hands. So incorporate the help where you need it, and you can do it. Okay, have a good day. Stay in the saddle.